Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Leanne, and welcome back to another What's for Dinner video. Today's video is featuring some Crockpot slow cooker meals. I know slow cooker is the proper word because Crockpot I think is a brand name. Whatever, you catch my drift. We've got 3 dinners and a really yummy, delicious dessert recipe, and I'm really excited about them. So let's get into the first recipe. All right, so for this first recipe, we are making a London broil in the slow cooker, and it came out really good. So for this sauce, we have 3/4 cup of beef broth, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Obviously, you can see I'm kind of guesstimating most of this. I did measure the beef broth. About 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. That looked like to be what was left in the bag, so I am just going to dump that in. And then about 2 cloves of garlic minced and 1/2 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And then we are also going to cut up 1 small onion into about 1-inch chunks. And then we're going to move on to the meat itself. This is a really quick and easy dinner to get going. And it came out really good. I had never done London broil in the Crockpot before. And the recipe that is going to be linked in the description box below does also offer an oven recipe, and it does call for like the Dutch oven, which I do not have. So the recipe does say that you should sear this in the Dutch oven for about 15 seconds per side. I'm obviously just going to do it in a skillet because that's what I have and that's how we cook. And then at this point I pulled this out and put it in the crock pot. Once I seared it on all sides for about 15 seconds in a really hot pan using olive oil and some butter, and I did salt the meat a little bit. And then we're going to move it to the slow cooker. We're going to add in the chunks of onion and pour the sauce over on top. And you can put that in the slow cooker for low for 7 to 8 hours or high 3 to 4. I definitely find that doing low and slow is the way to go to get really tender meat. So I definitely recommend going that route, and I'm pretty sure that's what I did with this one, and it came out really good. But whenever I've had issues before, it's because I haven't let it go long enough. It will cook in less time, but to get it nice and tender, you really want to let it go for a good amount of time. And then you're just going to set that and forget it. Like I said, on low for 7 to 8 hours. You could even go like 9, or I would even do like 10 hours if you have the time. And here you see many hours later, and it's all done. And I'm just kind of pulling it apart into chunks. I wasn't shredding it or anything. I just wanted to kind of pull it apart and let the smaller pieces just kind of sit in the juices for a minute, just to kind of get in, I don't know, all the good stuff. So I don't know if it shows here exactly how tender it was. Looks like I'm struggling, but I wasn't. I think I was just trying to not splash the juices everywhere. And that was it. And so for this dinner tonight, we just had some leftover, I believe, riced cauliflower, and I steamed up some broccoli and served that on the side. So that was all I did for this dinner, but this London broil came out super good. Alright, so for this next recipe, we're making a barbecue shredded beef, and I'm just spraying my crock pot, which I did in the last recipe too. I think I just didn't mention it. And the recipe calls for a chuck roast, and I don't believe that's what I used. We bought 1/2 cow, so we have lots of different cuts of meat in the freezer, and I'm not totally sure what I did, but this had a bone in it, so I don't think it was a chuck roast. I don't know. I'm not sure. Now I am seasoning both sides of this meat with paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and mustard, and the original recipe will be in the description box below for you to check out. I do realize now as I'm editing this that you're also supposed to rub on some brown sugar, and I don't see myself doing that, so I skipped that. I don't think that was intentional. I also didn't use black pepper, but I never do. That was intentional. And then we're just adding in about 2/3 a cup of beef broth, and we're just going to pour that along the sides. We don't want to, rinse off all of the yummy stuff we just put on our meat. And then the recipe also calls optional for liquid smoke, which I did not use, and then about 3 to 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We're just going to place that on top, and we're going to cover this and let this cook on low for 7 to 8 hours. Once again, you can do this longer. I believe I did this more like 10 hours and it was amazing. So I'm starting off here once that's all done by wanting to shred the meat, and obviously I found this bone, so I pulled that out and we're just going to begin to shred it. And also I'm pulling off any like large chunks of fat and any of that kind of stuff. And we're going to just shred this up and get it nice and shredded. How many times can I say shredded? Now I am going to tell you this recipe that I'm linking also has a recipe for barbecue sauce as well, which I have made my own before. You could use this recipe, but I ended up just using some jarred stuff that I had. I needed to just keep this particular meal very simple, and I don't remember what was going on that day, but excuse me. I do actually. We had small group this night, so by the time we came back, my voice is doing all sorts of things. By the time we came back, I just wanted to, get dinner on the table, so I took a quicker route here. Alright, I have now taken a drink of water and my voice should no longer be squeaking. This is not something that you have to do, but I just use my little skimmer strainer thing to strain off any fat or chunks or floaters, whatever, in this broth, and we're just going to remove that to my scrap bowl. And then I also felt like there was a little more liquid in here than I wanted for the final dish, so I'm also going to remove quite a bit of that to a dish. I did save that so that I could use it in another recipe. And then I'm just putting the shredded beef back in, and now I'm going to just add on my barbecue sauce and mix that all together. And then I'm leaving this in the crock pot on low or keep warm while I get our sides pulled together really quick. Like I said, I kept our sides really simple this night. Now the sides for this night, we're going to just steam up or cook up some rice cauliflower. This is frozen. I just throw this in a skillet. I don't use oil or butter to cook it. There's moisture from it being frozen, and I just let it cook until it gets tender, and you can season it however you want. On this night, I decided to do onion powder and garlic powder, and I probably added in some salt, or maybe we just did that when we ate it. And then I added in a little bit of butter and just mix that around, and that was pretty much it. Like I said, this was a busy night, so we were just trying to keep things simple, and rice cauliflower comes together very quick and easy. Sometimes we even just serve it with butter and salt, and that's it. So we've got our rice cauliflower, and then I have some of this corn dish. This was left over from another day, and I will try to remember to link the video where I made it. I think I showed it in a vlog if I remember correctly, but we had some of that left over, so that's what we used. And then I have these keto-friendly buns that I picked up from Aldi that we served our shredded beef on, and this barbecue beef was really good. I would definitely make this recipe again. It was very flavorful and of course easy to put together. Alright guys, we have another crock pot meal. I'm going to go ahead and spray my crock pot. I'm using my smaller crock pot today because I don't think I need much room. Hopefully I don't regret that. So I will link the original recipe, but I'm changing it quite a bit. I'm honestly just using this recipe as a guide because it says that you can use brown rice, and I feel like brown rice in the crock pot is a struggle. So yeah, the recipe uses chicken. We are using ham, and I'm going to vary some of the other things. Anyways, we've got 1 cup of brown rice that we're going to put in the bottom, and then we're going to need 2.5 cups of chicken broth, and you might need another cup later. I'm really hoping this works. I feel like brown rice should be able to be cooked in the crock pot, but it seems to be a struggle, and I'm not the only one I know who has that struggle. I do not feel like dicing up an onion, so I'm going to take some minced onion and just sprinkle a decent amount in there. We're going to add in some minced garlic, however much you want. I don't know, that much. We're going to add in 2 cups of chopped up ham. You could use leftover ham. I am using the sliced ham that you get from Aldi. This is about 2 cups. It's a little bit more, but it's there. Never any pre-sliced ham. It's already cooked. I get it there a lot. We use it for dinners like this, and then I also like to use it for sandwiches or like lunch trays. in eggs. I like to use it for all sorts of things. So this is definitely me varying from the recipe. I'm adding about 3 large carrots, peeled and diced up. It maybe was like 3/4 of a cup. We're gonna add more veggies later, but I don't think they're gonna need to be in here as long. So that's it. We're going to cover this and put this, I think the recipe said, hang on. We're gonna do low for 5 to 6 hours. I might come and put it on high at some point because I'm getting this started a little bit late. We do eat later than normal people, but it's already 3 o'clock. So I'm probably gonna switch it to high at some point. We're gonna come back in a little bit and we'll add in some more veggies later along with some stuff to make it creamy and yummy. So let's hope this recipe we're making up works. All right, I turned this on to up to high couple hours ago. I think the recipe said something like 3 hours on high or 2 or 5 hours on low, something like that. Anyways, the rice actually looks really good. So it's starting to get a little bit stuck on the edges. So it actually kind of looks good the way it is, but we're gonna add in about a 1/2 cup or that much of sour cream. We're gonna add in a can of drained corn just because I want some more veggies. This is gonna get real full here at the end here. And then some broccoli, which was frozen, so I just steamed it up and chopped it up. Yeah, I should have used my bigger crock pot. So, once again, I'm making a mess. You can check out the recipe. I will have that linked below if you are more of a recipe follower. Kind of hard to give that a good stir since it's so full. I think it's gonna be good though. I think I'm gonna turn this back down to low and slide this back just a touch so that I don't burn the edges. And we're gonna put about a cup of shredded cheese on top, and I think I'm just gonna put the lid on until the cheese looks melty. So I don't know, I'm thinking like 15 minutes, and I'll let you know how it is. There it is. It is looking good. Here it is all plated up, and I will maybe put on the screen or something what we think of this, but it looks good and it smells really good. So that's good. So I just wanted to pop on and let you know how we liked this recipe. It was really, really good. I was super excited that the brown rice cooked well. I ended up bumping it up to high because I was running low on time, and it was fine. Although I actually feel like I probably didn't need to because it almost was a little bit mushier than I would have necessarily needed it to be, but it was still really good. So I will definitely be trying some versions of that again because normally when I cook brown rice in the slow cooker, it does not come out very good. So we are going to move into the dessert recipe next. But I just wanted to say real quick, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up because that really does help me out. It helps my channel grow. Say hello in the comments. Let me know which of these recipes is your favorite and that maybe you're gonna give a try. And without further ado, let's get into the delicious dessert recipe. All right guys, so for this last recipe, we are gonna be making a giant chocolate chip cookie in the slow cooker, and I'm pretty excited. So, yes, this recipe calls for 2 sticks of butter, 1 cup of butter, unsalted. I did not have it out ahead of time because I just decided to make this. So I just, softened it in the microwave on a lower temp. We're gonna add in a 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar along with, yeah, we're just gonna do that. Could probably use the hand mixer here if you wanted, but I don't feel like it. We're gonna add in 2 eggs, 1 at a time. Now we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And that's a little more, that's okay. All right, so now we're gonna mix together our dry ingredients. We're gonna do 2 cups of flour. You can see I'm super accurate. 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. We're gonna add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. All right, once that is well combined, we're gonna fold in a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And I have told you before, and I'll say it again, chocolate chips do not get measured. So, I didn't measure that. We're just gonna fold that in. That looks good. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Why have I never done this before? All right, now the recipe says to grease the crock pot and then cover with wax paper. I don't know about using wax paper in here. I'm not totally sure about that. So I'm gonna just use parchment paper in here. And a trick that I learned that I don't even know if you can see me doing, and you probably won't be able to. I don't remember who I saw it on, like whose channel, but you crumble this up and then open it up and it'll be easier to fit inside. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna spray this with a little bit of cooking spray as well. I have no idea if that's necessary, but we're gonna get the cookie dough in the crock pot as evenly as possible. I feel like it needs a few more. All right, now we are going to cover this and bake on high for 2.5 hours. All right, here it is after 2.5 hours. I think the edges got a little bit more done, but I'm gonna just pop this out and put it on a cutting board and see what happens. I don't know if you're supposed to scoop it out or what, because the recipe really didn't say. All right, so this is how it came out. It did get a little dark on one side. I think I must just have a hot spot in my crock pot because the rest of it came out perfect. Let's cut into it. All right, here's how it is. All right, Jesse, go ahead and put the, he wants to have it like this, not a ton. Now you can do yours. No, that one's mine. No. Is that yours? That's yours now.
It's bigger.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's how it should be eaten. Not sure what's there, but looks good. All right, guys, well, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you liked it, once again, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to help me out. Subscribe if you are new so you don't miss out on my future videos. And of course, all recipes will be linked in the description box below. That's gonna do it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.